Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215. You can follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Okay, good morning.
Hi there.
We're in Edinburgh, which is a large...
Oh, well, I wish you told me.
It's a large urban conurbation, is it?
Yeah. It's very nice.
Lovely.
Nice. I'm having the time of my life.
This was the time...
Why are you using a past tense for my version of the song?
I realised then I couldn't remember the tense, whether it was this is the time.
It's I've had.
I've had. Oh, sorry.
Like what I was singing. Quietly, granted.
It's one of those terrible moments when you're mid-song. And, sorry, if I sound a little hesitant, I'm... for some reason I can't hear myself.
You two are doing shows up
Can
here.
we ever hear ourselves really in life?
Early
Can we
philosophy.
Can we? If we could hear ourselves, one feels we'd say a lot less if you receive my meaning.
Yeah,
nevertheless,
we've got a new studio and we're getting adjusted to it. You two are doing shows up here and I'm doing very little, really, which I'm enjoying.
You're swanning, aren't you?
I'm swanning.
Actually, you're doing more than we are in your own little way.
And I've put a lot
In your own little way. Sweetheart.
Oh, that's fine, you'll pay for it later. And I've put quite a lot of thought into my Edinburgh look this year.
Your Edinburgh look?
Yeah, when I go out in the morning, I want to look like female reviewer, because I have lots of laminates. I need laminates everywhere I go.
Yeah.
But with slightly better conditioned hair.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They always have a bad hair. I'm going to be honest, these women.
I can't slag off reviewers at this stage in the first
No, I always think they look fantastic. I think I'm not sure about the tartan pants suit.
Yeah.
But
It's snug.
As an attempt to blend in, I think it's misfired.
I went to see Frank's show last night.
How was it?
Sure.
Absolutely blinding.
The Guardian.
I was standing in the queue with Daisy.
You should be a reviewer.
Blinding. You shouldn't be backlit, Frank. Did you know?
Well,
No,
there was
no,
an
sorry
awkward
about-
moment when I inquired about tickets at our shared management company. I was told, we'll see what we can do, but it is sold out.
Nice.
Can you imagine how that went down on a scale of 1 to 10?
Can I point out that not all the shows are sold out?
Okay, that particular one was.
Tickets
one
still
was.
available is my nickname on the show. Don't you start. That's my territory.
TSA. TSA Cochrane, that's what it should do. It sounds like an American author. Tickets still available, Cochrane.
I'd have that.
Frank, when we were standing outside your gig, there was a queue. Oh, there was a queue. It was snaky. It was snaking around the block. I was sat there because I didn't want to get in the queue, even though I had to. I was leaving it to the last
I'm
possible
sorry
minute.
you had to queue, I know you don't like
I wanted to show I was VIP, so I sat there like a homeless person on the steps.
Right.
And Daisy, I couldn't believe it, she said, all these people can't be for Frank. I've never... I said...
What? You said what?
I said, he's doing quite well. She said, they can't all be for Frank. I don't think they're all for Frank.
See, this is how I'm viewed by those closest to me. With proving that a prophet is without honour in his own land.
Yeah.
I don't think you should discuss profit at the Edinburgh Festival
No,
either.
that doesn't exist.
I would have gone to see Alun's show, Frank, but tickets weren't so forthcoming. I won't lie.
Well, my show slightly overlaps with Frank's, or rather his overlaps slightly with mine, so you couldn't have done them both on the same night. So
Okay, just saying.
yeah,
It'd be a bit David Frost on Concord.
How similar it would be.
Yes, it would really.
very.
Anyway, it was we're off, as they say. We've both
And we're off.
We've done shows, and
Giddy up.
we're off, and it's lovely to be in probably the world's great artist, the Arts Festival. Do you think?
Yeah.
Oh, it's certainly the world's largest.
You are.
Glad you didn't say that to me.
No,
I'm fine with it.
God, what if I'd said that to you? That
No, that'd be
could
bad.
have been just like you could have been able to hear the sulk through the speakers in your own homes. How terrible it would have been.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Yes.
You've had a review from last night.
Oh.
Do you want to hear it?
No. Well, I don't do reviews. Go on.
Okay. Mitch Price, he says Frank Skinner, in brackets, in top form for his opening 90 minutes at Edinburgh. Mature, measured filth.
Oh, that's nice. I don't mind that.
I've been called that a few times.
Yeah. MMF. Yeah, she's MMF. Hey. So, I've had a strange week, I must say.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, I got bitten by something in my garden.
Oh.
And I got bit the other week. I was talking about.
We were putting,
putting
spit on your insect bite, weren't we?
I was, yeah. Well, I got bitten again, but this one, spit wouldn't have done this one.
Well, this is from the S&M community over for a barbecue.
No, funny you say. No. I went, I had to do a TV show, and can you believe this was how bad it was? I did the show in slippers.
No.
Yeah. I couldn't get a shoe on.
Wow.
When you get to my age, you can't get a shoe on. I know you expect that. But
Yeah.
I actually had proper black, shiny. There's a real weird moment. The wardrobe woman said, "You're not going to get this shoe on. I'll have to go into town and get you some black slippers." And there was a runner who I guess was about 20, young woman. And she said, "Black slippers? Where are you going to get those?" And I thought,
Good point.
this is odd. Are they really unusual?
I don't.
Anyway, she got some.
Oh, good for her.
I think you should have done them in flip-flops, like you'd lost your mind.
Well, I'm a man who does. I
that'd be
don't wear
cool.
slippers in the house.
Yeah, but flip-flops
really.
and a suit, Frank. I love that.
What about those sort of orthopaedic slipper things that we got sent to the show? Well, couldn't you
Yeah,
have
I
done
didn't
that?
have them with me. I don't carry them everywhere on the off chance I got septic. But so, also I always think there's a man, I probably shouldn't name him, but there was a man that lived in my road when I was a kid who used to go to the shops in his slippers. And we all used to say, "Oh, there's Mr. Let's call him Mr. S. There's Mr. S in his slippers."
Yeah.
And then, sure enough, as my mum put it, his wife got a fancy man.
Yeah, right.
It will happen.
And I've always thought, well, you would, wouldn't you? Because you'd think, do I really want to be with Mr. Slipper Man?
Yeah.
So anyway, I had to do that.
I
And,
go to the shop in flip-flops and I've gone away. Is my wife fine, do we think? All right, fair enough.
do you go to the shop in slippers?
In flip-flops and just some
Yeah, but
flip-flops,
that's a David Beckham hot dad look you're trying to cultivate.
Yeah, totally.
Let's not
Very
lie.
much. That's very
That's
much
right.
what he's after.
That's
Oh, he's
absolutely
so
right.
in.
Let's move on.
But I
Good-
was
good work.
I had a weeping foot, is what I had.
I saw the picture.
Yeah, so
Oh.
it swelled up and then it stuff come out of it.
It oozed
Weeping foot actually would be a great name for a Native American.
for you.
Yeah. You come weeping. Do they still? Can you do that? Okay. Yes, I got bitten whole. Well, I was in my garden. And
So swollen.
it was awful. I mean, I actually...
You look like Shrek.
I was in A&E singing While My Foot Gently Weeps. trying to lighten the... But it wasn't. But the show was, with the foot, was a very strange experience, which I shall share with you in just a moment.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
So, I turned up to do this TV show.
Oh, yeah.
And the sound woman, the woman who was doing the sound, thought I'd try some different syntax on my initial sentence.
I like that. It's very modern as well.
Thanks. She said, welcome back to television. Oh! And of course, I started doing that pathetic thing when this happens, of going through your CV.
For the last few
actually,
years.
I'm
I'm
doing quite a bit most. Oh, pathetic.
Oh, no.
And she said, "Oh, well, I don't watch." And then it just tailed away. But that's
Just watch television.
I had a bad foot. I'd been. I think it was done in a nice way as well.
Oh, was
Welcome back.
Oh, welcome back.
Oh, dear.
Nevertheless, so anyway, I did the show, and then at the end, that was the other thing, because I said, no, I'm doing I do Room 101 of it. And she went, really? Like I might be making it up.
Oh, can I just say I love that woman?
Anyway, well, she said to me as well. She said, "Well, you guessed on things, but you don't actually do your own stuff."
Oh, wow.
let it go.
Are you sure you didn't have some sort of past with her?
No, I definitely didn't.
Okay.
No. I don't know. My past now is has got so dim and distant. I don't know where it's been. So anyway, I ended up in A&E at 10:30 with my foot by now swollen, blistered, red, glowing, and I was in there for 2.5 hours.
Wow.
No, I'm lying. 3.5 hours.
Liar.
3.5. Yes. I don't know what.
Frank,
I don't know what got into.
I mean, Al, have you still not seen the photographs?
I've seen a photograph of...
It looks like, I believe Chris Rock does a bit of material about the larger lady, and I believe says they look like they bake in bread in her shoe. That is what your foot looked like.
Yes. Does he say that?
Yes, I believe so.
Weirdo. It suddenly struck me, because even in the very midst of such difficult situations, I like to think about language and all its intricacies. Here's the question: are patients called patients because they have to be patient? They have to wait a long time. I'm serious. Any idea?
Can we have that as
Was
today's
it
text?
any idea?
Just a simple
Yeah,
yes or no
yes.
question.
No.
If there's any readers that know the answer to that, it's got to be something. It's a bit of a coincidence, patient and patient, and the NHS have all come together in one beautiful moment. So anyway, I was a bit... When I went in, I gave my birth name.
I thought you said your birthday. I nearly
which
vomited.
is, I was born Christopher Collins. And I gave that name because I thought it's going to be a bit embarrassing if I'm sitting in A&E and a woman comes out. It was getting a bit late. So some strange people arrive in A&E. It can be a scary place. And come and says, Frank Skinner. I'm just going to feel, I don't want anyone shouting, welcome back to television. So I was sitting there, so the nurse come out and says, she said, Gary Vitter. And there was a man called Gary Vitter who was in there. And I did enjoy that. And his name must have got called through the evening about 4 times to see various people. Yeah. And every time she come out, I thought, because you're trying to be straight, because Gary Vitter wasn't sitting that far away from me.
Yeah.
But I knew every time she said it, I was going to start laughing. And I thought, and there's always someone worse off. That's what I thought.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe I'm thinking, so this all happened in my garden, this bite. They told me they think it's a spider bite.
Is that right?
Really?
Apparently spiders carry a bit more, it got infected.
Oh,
so,
Frank.
I was thinking of gardening as being my gentle retirement thing, and now I see it's like I've taken up that, those pensioners that bungee jump
Yes.
to prove it's like that now. I'm taking my life.
Oh, darling, just pay someone. That's what I do.
You know what? I might done that before, but I'm surprised you've mentioned it on air.
Emily pays someone to get her garden done. Yeah, that's true.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, we've heard from one of our readers. This is from Ian. Ian Penniket, who says, Frank, Emily and Alan, how bin ya?
Yeah, bin ya.
As I'm... Yes, fair
It's a
enough.
West Midlands thing.
Yes, I know what it is. I can say it very well. How bin ya? As I'm usually out on a Saturday morning, I thought I'd email tonight, Friday, so he's one of our Friday night crew.
Oh, yeah.
Alan works with them a lot. I've been a long time listener to the podcast, and I recently heard of your mild annoyance of the 12th.
Yes. This is to do with the fact that I no longer operate on it. I'll see you at 10 past, or be there for 20 past. I'm using the 19s, the 16s, the 17s. It feels great.
Yeah. I used to be a driving instructor, and the practical driving test times in Dudley, as if I need to be told this, were as follows. 9:07 a.m, 10:14 a.m, 11:11 a.m, 12:38 p.m, and 2:42. There was also 8:20 and 1:40 available, but I used to ignore those. Anyway, I'm off to catch the 8:35 to crew to enable me to swill from a bottle of Ricard. Cheers, Ian.
Yes, because the 8:35, that's sort of spoilt it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I know.
I think he's a reference there to I used to drink a Ricard on trains.
Yes, that was in what I call your unfortunate years.
Yes, it used to make me feel buoyant. I mean, you can criticise it. I felt incredibly buoyant.
You can criticise it, yes.
Buoyant.
And as I always said, it gave you a lot of room on a train. Even though if you were behaving, even if you were really quiet and just reading a paper, if you were reading a paper and drinking what I used to call a flask of Ricard, because it was in a slightly flask-shaped bottle, people don't sit by you.
No, I wouldn't.
Prejudice.
Yeah.
I don't sit by people drinking on trains at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think people drinking on trains is extraordinary. Or any form of public transport. You wouldn't do that on a bus. You wouldn't do that on a tube. If you got a bottle of wine.
I did it on a bus.
I've drank on all of those modes of transport.
Yeah, you two, guess what? You're not benchmarks of normality.
I left a few benchmarks in those days. Tell you that. I had... I'm going to do... occasionally I've lapsed into something I said I would never do in my life, and that's the funny things that they say.
Oh, yeah.
That parents do. I know it's very awful. But I was changing...
Ticket's still available for my show, by the way, on the subject of funny things kids say.
Yes.
TSA?
Yeah, TSA. By the way, I had the doctor in A&E. I went back and had to see this woman the next day, and she said, I want you to come in tomorrow as well. And I said, I've got to go to Edinburgh. And she said, no, I'm telling you, I need to have a look at this foot tomorrow. And I said, honestly, I have to go. And she said, well, look, I want to make this clear, you're going against medical advice. And she wrote me a letter to say if I had problems up here, I could show what I'd been injected with and stuff. And she wrote, can I say this patient is in Edinburgh against medical advice? And so I'm thinking AMA for my thing.
Against medical advice?
Against medical advice wouldn't be a bad title for a show in Edinburgh.
Do you know, the fact that you did that is so Tom Cruise, and I'm finding it quite sexy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Well, I knew I'd find something eventually. God knows I've trawled.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
for me, it was the Ricard on the train.
Anyway, I was putting my son to bed, and which he generally fights against, and he sleeps with two toys, two cuddly toys. And he said, blah blah and blah blah, they're sleeping. I said, that's why you've got to go to sleep nice and quiet and not cry.
Good idea.
Because otherwise you'll wake them up. And he said to me, well, they're just Buzzie's toys. And I thought, you can't do that. You can't say they're sleeping and then reduce them to inanimate objects.
He's torn down the wall, and I love him for that.
He's playing with reality. And
Totally.
Early on, the fourth wall's gone completely.
He might be a filmmaker.
And he led me into it with they're sleeping. So, So
he is quite young to be aware of that.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit scary, and I felt like you know what he'd done? He'd led me onto the carpet and then pulled it away from under me. It was a trap. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
There's a little creaky chair there.
Yeah, no, that's my spine. So yeah, I lapsed into the funny things they say. But can I just add, I was changing his nappy the other day, and he looked at me and said, "I like John Lewis."
Did he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did he mean the shop, or does he know a John Lewis?
No, he had been taken to the shop, and he
thought he might have been a playgroup with somebody with
it's on his list.
Can I say I love a retail-aware child?
Yeah, it would be. I thought that would be a great advert.
It's a brilliant advert.
Great radio advert. If I'd
maybe get rid of the nappy side of things, depending on.
Yeah, you wouldn't need to have that. It's on radio.
Okay.
You just have to. I just need to cut that out.
I mean, you wouldn't like it, but I once walked out with my son on a Sunday afternoon and my wife, and he turned around and went, "Can we go to the pub?" And I said, if it's what you want, son, yes we can.
So we went to the pub.
We went to the pub, got him a bag of crisps.
You sit him outside with lemonade and crisps?
No, I went outside
cola,
with beer.
Frank.
I just left him somewhere.
They used to give them Panda Cola, didn't they?
Honestly, when I first started going to the pub, when I was 14.
Oh, what a lovely anecdote!
There used to be kids sitting in cars all over the car park with it. It was like they're like stakeouts. You know when you see that coppers in there, in
donuts.
and like that kid sitting there with lemonade and crisps like they were watching the play.
Brilliant.
We have some news on a patient.
Oh God, I thought the Queen had done. You know, every morning, I read. This is absolutely true. I reach across to my phone to see if the Queen's still with us. I do. I go straight to the Sky News app.
I wake up every morning and say, I love John Lewis. Hi, Emily, Alun, and that guy who used to always be on telly. Oh. Patient comes from the Latin patientem, which is the present participle of pati, to suffer. Kind regards.
Oh.
Kind regards. That's from John Symes.
So why do we use patient then? In the other thing, if
Can I tell
someone's
you what I
being
like?
patient-
He's your listener with the OED to hand. So he's obviously an old
might have
school
just-
type.
he might
And
have
I like
just
him
known
for
it.
that. Yeah.
What if he just knew it off the top of his head?
That'd be impressive.
Oh, brilliant. So,
Well, I would say call me, but as you may or may not be aware, I have a boyfriend
Get a boyfriend.
who's
then.
I
in
think we
an
need to-
award-winning HBO drama currently.
I think
Thank you.
we can probably save you a bit of time by getting an I've Got a Boyfriend jingle that you can hit.
Yes.
What about IGAB? I've got a boyfriend.
Yeah.
What about you saying I've got a boyfriend over the Game of Thrones theme?
Yes. What about I
be
sing
good.
it to the theme? Yes.
That'd be good.
We'll sort that out for next week.
Well, more than that, we'll get you some studio time. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Oh, I went partying, by the way, when we were back in England before
Did
we
you?
came up. Yeah,
Legend.
I don't party often, but it was a lovely party we were going to.
Yeah.
I think I can say it was David Mitchell's 40th.
Oh, I'm a big fan of David Mitchell.
Yes, and so David Baddiel was going, and Kath, my girlfriend, and I.
Lovely.
And so Dave said, why don't we go together? I'm not saying there was any sense of a cab fare shared. I'm just saying it was a communal thing. So I said, OK, let's go together. And
Because you're local.
yeah, we live in
aren't
the
you?
same road.
Yeah.
So I said, OK, I said, well, where's it at? Because I can't,
It's very street of
I
you.
can't
Where's
find-
it at?
I can't find the intro. And he said, OK, I'll text it to you. So he
Did you actually
texted
say,
me.
where's the party at? That would be good.
Yeah.
Where's the party at?
So he texted.
Did he say, let's get this party started?
Did we fight for the right to party? Is that what you're wondering before I go on? So anyway, he texted me the address, so I booked a car. And
Oh, I love Booker Cart. So showbiz.
So we had
Money
our
to
presents. We had our presents in our
Lovely.
hands and our party outfits on. And we got into the car and we went off, and it drove us to. It was all right area, but it's an area I wasn't really thinking. David Mitchell's 40th, and when we ended up at the headquarters of the National Union of Teachers.
Oh, yeah.
This is a Saturday. It's a municipal building.
Yeah.
And David said he had looked it up, and they definitely had public functions there. It didn't look like the kind of place that would
No.
be. So the cab driver said, I can't wait any longer, I've got another job on. So we were left, me, Dave and my girlfriend, in our party frocks, carrying presents outside a municipal building on a Saturday night, not knowing where the party was. So we said, well, we'll have to start phoning people
Yeah.
who, you know,
And was this quite far from where you live?
quite far from where we live and quite far from the party.
Oh, okay.
And I tell you what, I'd kind of forgotten that's what life with Dave was like.
Yes,
'Cause
yeah.
when I hung out with Dave every day, it was basically, you know, I love Dave profoundly, but a lot of life
Me also, but...
was about phoning places saying,
Yeah.
you know, the
Where are we
Dave
going?
had left his bag on an aeroplane or in a cab or
Right.
stuff like that.
Oh, he's very denim jacket at a train station.
Well, Kathy's very similar. I feel that it's almost like having lived with Dave all those years. I thought, you know, I wouldn't want a female version of this, you know, for
Yeah.
extras. And so they just passed the baton. Anyway, so we started. So Dave found, I should know, Dave found quite a very well-known TV personality.
Yes.
And said, can you tell us?
But not David Mitchell. Didn't go straight to the head honcho.
No, we tried that, but of course you can't get
tried
people,
that?
Can't
people
call the
at their
party
own,
boy.
No, you
people
can't.
at their own party.
No, you can't.
Well, we did it, but obviously they weren't answering because they were at their own. He was at his own party.
If it had been my party and I'd have had David Baddiel on the phone saying, I'm standing outside the Municipal Union of Teachers, I wouldn't have been best pleased.
No, but at least you'd have had the crying option if it had been your party.
Exactly. Good point.
So, anyway, he phoned a well-known TV star
Oh, I'm dying to know now.
and said, where's the party at? And they said, well...
Hang on, did they say, well, I'm in the kitchen?
No.
You'll always find me in the kitchen.
No, I'm afraid they said, well, what party? I haven't been invited.
Oh, no!
You are joking me.
That is better. That is better.
Please tell me you're joking.
I'm not joking, no.
This is the best news of all year.
And it was, oh, God, it was...
And it was? You were about to say the name?
No, I can't say
Nearly.
I can't say the name until the music starts. I think, is that an old saying? Like, the party's not over till the fat ladies... Anyway, the party was very nearly over. And anyway, there we were. I tell you what it was like. You know when someone's exotic bird gets out of its cage and goes into the garden and is ripped apart by sparrows and stuff because they're jealous of its plumage. That's how I felt in our party gear, standing on the road with people looking at.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
You can text the show at 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
What's my name again? IG.
Oh, it was
AB.
like that Muhammad Ali. Who was he fighting? Was it Ernie Terrell? What's my name? What's my name? Oh, it's awful and brilliant.
Oh,
The
yes.
Guardian.
Well, we haven't talked about this morning yet. What about Bieber Belieber?
Ah, Bieber and Blue.
Oh, Bieber
It's the best
Belieber.
tailors I've ever been to.
Blue, yeah. They did you those pantaloons, didn't they?
They did, and they're a bit. They did rub me a bit under the knee, but bit of sellotape. They were top notch.
Can I just say with Bloom, we will get to this. It's all kicked off with Bieber and Bloom, hasn't it? Orlando Bloom.
This is Orlando Bloom hit Justin Bieber. Is this
Yes.
right?
Tried to hit
Cheered
him.
on,
Oh, he didn't
cheered on by
actually
Leo
land.
DiCaprio.
Was he?
Apparently so.
That I did not know.
It's a little bit immature,
Yes,
that.
he was cheered on by
Grow up.
Lilo.
Both
Cheered on by
Lilos.
Lilo?
Lilo and
Yeah.
Leo.
Yeah, Lindsay Lohan was.
Yeah.
She was there.
I imagine she's never far from a pub scrap. You go, come on, Lindsay. I can imagine that's what Lindsay's like. I love Lindsay.
Well, you say a pub scrap. One of the things that I find sad about this whole story is
Yeah.
that, you know, if you're going to have a fight, don't make it in a restaurant. I just feel
No.
like it's not the right setting, is it?
No, but I don't know how much pub car park time.
Have a
they
fight
spend.
in a
No.
car park or
Also,
like
Bieber-
a jail or...
Bieber, Belieber and Bloom, they've had beef before.
What, they ate? They ate prior to it? Did they?
That's what the argument
They
was
fought
about.
in both of them.
They had a steak.
No, because we should say Bieber Belieber went on a date with Miranda.
His ex, yeah.
Was it
Miranda
Kerr.
Yeah. Who Orlando, who I've got to say is what I call a DGI. Don't get it.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Don't
really?
fancy him at all. He's such a DGI.
Maybe the reason for his fame
Looks like
is...
he works in a health food shop. Let's be honest.
So what's the reason for his fame other than his looks? Is
He probably
is
knows
amazing
someone.
acting?
No, he knows people.
You don't think he's a good actor?
No.
Poor old. You want to watch yourself?
Pop him on the
Turns
list.
up here, I'll smash the place in.
You
It's a
want to
nutcase.
check your privileges.
Off him on the
I
list.
thought
Orlando
he
Bloom.
was.
He's all right. He's a bit white billowing shirt, isn't he?
Yeah, just pretty.
Yeah, but
isn't he?
I don't mind that.
All right, calm down. So they had a bit of a ruckus, Frank.
He swung for him. According
Yeah.
to the tabs.
He should have told they should get into the ring.
Yeah.
That. Oh, Bloom already has, of course.
Bieber yelled
Very
out. Do you know what
good.
Bieber said? Well, he said, "What's up?" And then he used a word used to refer to a female canine.
Oh, yeah.
And
What? Stop me. Now, I'm just going to lay my ignorance on the table.
Yes.
Here. When did Justin Bieber? I've always believed until this believed until very recent times, was basically a white Canadian one-man boy band.
Yes.
Very, you know, a guy you could imagine getting in and and his mum saying, "You want there's cookies and milk over there on the."
Right.
Here's the question. This could be a texting.
Yeah.
When did Justin Bieber become G?
Has he become G?
He's G.
So G.
He's G.
Suddenly he's G.
Yeah.
You see a picture of him now. He's still Justin Bieber. You can still see.
I thought he was D, to be honest.
You can still see. That should be a formal announcement if he's D. When did you do that?
I meant D, the dunce cap. D.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant he'd expired. That'd be awful.
What about when he posted a photo? But I know what you mean. He posts these pictures on Instagram. 53 million followers, may I just say, on Twitter.
Is that all? God, if I joined Twitter,
But
I'd
what
have
he
double
says
that.
on Twitter, he uses it to settle scores, of which more in a minute. But he also says very literal things, like a picture of him, and he said sunburn and a moustache. You can't just say what you look like.
I think that's quite.
I don't just say
might join
rudely
Twitter.
doing and a bit of
There's a
lipstick.
picture of him now, and he got like all his tattoos and his hat. And he looked like he was going to a fancy dress party as a rapper. That's what it doesn't feel real. He's G.
He's gone G.
Little Justin G, isn't that?
Dustin G.
Oh, that's D. Dustin G. I got mixed up. Oh dear, life's so complicated.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Another thing that Bieber is alleged to have said. I mean, none
Keep
of
it
us
clean.
know exactly what Bieber said to Bloom,
No.
but
But we think keep it clean was it?
no. At one point, he allegedly said she was good.
Oh, that's.
But let me get. I'm confused also about the romantic thing here. This is Miranda Kerr is not.
Oh, Miranda
Bloom.
Hart. There's been a terrible mistake
Oh,
here.
what? Oh, really?
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
wasn't-
Miranda Kerr.
She wasn't punched. She just fell over. No, that Miranda Kerr is not married to Orlando Bloom.
But was.
No, but she was at the
Okay.
time when she did the Victoria's Secret show. Don't look like you're not a fan, because I know you are, Frank. And
Well-
she and Bieber allegedly met each other.
Oh, did they?
and
at that
they were
time.
married at
Yes.
the time. You see, they say that he took her home after she'd been a model in the Victoria's Secret. Now, to me, taking... I mean, you know, I haven't done it for a long time, but the whole point of taking a woman
ill.
home was to see her in her underwear.
Yes.
What's the point of taking someone home after a Victoria's Secret show?
Take her home
I think
and
we'll
put
have
some
to
clothes on her.
Save myself a bit of bother. Cab fare in the morning.
Yeah.
Scratching around for them Weetabix. You know, and it's... why would he do that?
Yeah. That.
And also, it would have been milk and cookies. I think when the door closes, Bieber becomes Bieber again. I think all those...
Do you think he gets a bit...
all those rough
Buzz
mates-
doesn't want to go sleepy time.
Yeah, I think...
Yeah.
I think he does.
I think
Bieber
he-
doesn't want to go sleepy time.
He also... I tell you what he started wearing. You know those very tall baseball hats
Yes.
that hip-hop people, well, just Americans generally wear. The only guy I know who wears one of those. I see him at a lot of gigs, and he's basically got a recording studio under his hat. He does bootlegs, and he's got it's the biggest. You know when people sneak in recording equipment. I mean, he's got a mixer desk and everything
Wow.
under his hat,
He sounds good.
and it's a high. Those with the slight gauze on them that you
Oh,
get.
yeah,
those
and the
baseball.
label, always with the label.
It's a mystery
That
to
was
me.
very Bieber and Bloom of me, wasn't it? Always with the label.
Also, there was
Also,
there was a picture, wasn't there, of Bloom apparently in tears after.
Bloom was crying.
But was he crying, or was he just rubbing his eye a
No,
bit?
that wasn't taken that night.
No,
that's
it
a
wasn't.
different
That was a standard stock shot, which Bieber had, God love him, spent some time Googling, I would imagine. Possibly
Yeah.
via Getty Images, who knows. And...
He'd have got one of his. One
Oh,
of
do you
his
think he'd got a
posse.
pic? Yeah. Hey, get me one of them pictures of Bloom.
Can you Google image Orlando Bloom? Sure, boy. Should do you say? Yeah, just do it now. Where's my cookies gone? Where are my cookies? Did you see them anywhere? A little slice of life from the home life of
Yeah.
Bieber.
But Orlando Bloom is 20 years older than him, and he swung at him and missed. It's unforgivable. I side with Theodore Roosevelt on this, that there's no excuse for hitting softly.
Oh, I like your modern heroes.
Ideally don't hit at all, but if you must hit, there's no excuse for hitting.
I'm Team Bloom, though.
I had a mate who was a gas fitter, and he was...
Congratulations.
He was he's working in this person's house. They'd gone out, and he was there with this young apprentice who was about 17, and this big dog came, and they didn't even know there was one in the house. The woman had gone out, and the dog stood there right by the side of this apprentice and went and they were both scared, and he said that the young guy picked up this hammer, and he said, I said to him, you better make it a good one. If you just wrap him on the end of the nose. Well, so maybe that's the secret with Bieber. Make it a good one.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
I was going to read you a brief text that we've just received.
Do what you like.
Before we... shall I?
Just do what you like.
Frank, I'm confused. I have been out in the car and heard a very amusing story about queuing for your show. Came back in and heard the same thing all over again. Does the internet version of your show run an hour later?
Who wants to know?
900.
What happens is we go out.
Who wants to know? Like you're in some East End pub and you just smashed a bottle.
Orlando Bloom.
Who's asking? Well, yes. What happens is that we go out live on Absolute Radio, the station Absolute Radio, and then an hour later we go out. We are networked on Absolute Radio's other stations.
And sometimes
60s,
we forget
70s, 80s, 90s, noughties, zeros.
Yeah.
The 17th century, Absolute the 17th century.
Oh, I love that
Yeah.
one.
Absolute Legend, that's the one that I do,
Absolute
where I
Legend,
just
yeah.
interview
Absolute
people.
Absolute Nightmare. That's the one I do.
Yeah, I think...
The relationship phoning I do. My advice on how to be in a relationship.
When he hasn't put a kiss on a text or something, just
Yeah.
absolute nightmare.
So I hope that answers your question.
I thought it would be just worth reminding the people.
No, I see
that
why you read it out there.
Yeah.
It's a good way of subtly making that point to people.
It's great the way you did that.
It's
So if we
It's very
say
organic.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
If we say something brilliant, you can switch over and listen to it again.
Yeah.
I would.
One of the decade channels, I believe we call them.
Al,
Yeah.
can you stop doing that with your chair because it's making a noise?
Yeah.
Doing what with my chair?
I don't know, but it's a bit
You
squeaky.
know, that.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm tempted to go a-wandering. Email corner. We've arrived.
Slightly pan pipes harmony that you went for there.
I like the idea now of our three-person canoe just sliding up to the bank in email corner and us clambering out.
Oh,
Indeed.
lovely.
I have an email here. It would seem Frank's continuing comments on the deplorable state of the nation's oral health have been heeded.
Bad breath.
Bad breath,
Bad
yeah.
breath is everywhere, and it's
growing.
increasing.
I've just read...
Have you smelt any in Edinburgh?
You know what? I think breath. I mean, I've smelt a bit of drink on people's breath. I'll be honest with you.
I've smelt brew.
But that's a different thing.
Love it.
According to my, I haven't really been out and about much because of my septic foot. But the Scottish people I've met, I have
you in the
not.
Canterbury Tales?
Can I say I have not yet found bad breath north of the border? What about that? That could be
Well,
an interesting thing.
what
Because
does
all
that
that
tell
stuff
you?
about
Well,
the diet.
You say
know.
that, but now Alan's here. Bring it.
Yeah, indeed.
So anyway, yes.
We should say Alan has lovely breath.
Well, the more we talk about it, the more paranoid I get.
No, I think we have to make a pact that we
Yeah.
tell each other.
Yeah,
I've
we've
said
got
I
to.
say this to Kath all the time, that what she must tell me.
I told my wife that
you
she had
don't
pepper
need-
in her teeth, and she went mad because there was a waiter there. And she said, you should have waited until they'd gone away. And I was thinking, well, I was saving you from talking to him with
Why did she
pepper in your
care
teeth.
about him? Was she having an affair with him or something?
What?
Also, I particularly like you saying, I've told Kath she's got to tell me. Yeah, she's really the type to hold back. Right?
But, you know, I think that's... I was doing a show the other week, and I said to my fellow presenter, bat in the cave, left barrel.
Say that
Did you?
again.
How did
Yeah.
it go down?
Well, I think that ultimately people are great. They're never
Bat
quite-
in the cave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
Left
you know
barrel?
that?
No,
yeah, it's,
what
a
is
it's a
this?
nostril.
The nostril thing.
Tip.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. And
Oh, what, like a dangler? Like, not a nostril hair?
Oh, we don't have to.
don't
People are having their breakfast.
that.
It's...
God.
I don't think you're ever quite forgiven for it, but they're grateful if you get that
By the
combination.
cave, I really like that.
I love it when they're grateful.
Idiotic Eureka moment.
Yes.
Yeah, so I've become fascinated by the whole bad breath thing. So
we'll continue.
Let's speak more.
The email from Mary continues. I've just read.
I just said, can we speak more? Are you not listening to me? Is that what's happened now on this show? Hello?
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I believe we're going to come back to the halitosis thing, but just to while away a couple of minutes, we've had a quick email that I thought I'd share with you, Frank.
Do it?
Good morning, Frank, Emily and Alan. Just thought I'd ask for your opinion on the decision taken by West Brom to switch to a thin blue pinstripe for the coming season. I understand football doesn't get much of a look in on the show, but obviously this is from a solely sartorial point of view.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
acceptable in that sense.
Well, it's a sort of a history discussion. The question is, if even if you're not into football, I think you can appreciate this. If a team, which is very much a community-centred thing, is associated with a certain shirt over the years that people get, should you suddenly change it? The way Cardiff City, known as the Bluebirds for playing in blue, suddenly switched to red. And it's
The
not
fans
allowed.
saw red, didn't they? The
I mean,
fans literally saw red.
a colour change is extreme.
So, but the fans have tremendous power in shirt, in the shirt world, because you can just stop buying them.
I want to
you
give Bieber and Bloom a call.
Yeah, if you don't get them from the replica shop, they'll soon go back to the old shirts. Simple as that. I'm not saying that that's what should be done. I'm not calling for a revolution by any means.
Why don't you burn your season ticket? That always does well.
I
hate it when people do
not
that.
prepared to do that. Sorry.
Oh, they make such a big thing. It's like, well, so what? Someone else will just buy it.
There's a bloke at Wolverhampton Wanderers who went up and pinned his season ticket to the door as a protest.
What about when Adrian Charles did that? God, it was embarrassing.
Hang on. he's not finished his little joke.
Has he got a
It's
joke?
an old joke.
It's a good old
he had a
joke, though.
He
joke.
changed his mind, went back, and someone had stole the drawing pin.
Oh,
There we go.
that was a lovely joke.
Yes, thank you very much. Is it?
Oh, Absolute legend.
Well spotted, Al.
Oh, yeah.
you know,
But he wasn't done yet.
I do know old jokes.
It's not up there with. The song is not the. If you didn't hear last week's show, I can understand why you might find that last moment disturbing. Trust me, it's the future.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
So,
Bad breath.
bad breath. Your topic of choice. This expert from the States.
Sorry, that's my car arrived.
Frank, the clown's turned up.
Not me, that's not my text sound.
Is it not?
I believe it's Alan Cochrane's, isn't it?
No, it was Charlie.
Okay. Your Charlie's arrived.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it's all going to be rock and roll. Yeah. Still, what happens in Edinburgh?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
all right. I just went back for a bit. I'm back again.
Oh, no.
This American expert to the rich and famous has written a book, and he's apparently coming to the UK. And he's written a book called The Bad Breath Bible.
Dr. Harold Katz.
Dr. Harold Katz.
Harry-
The Bad
Harry
Breath
Katz?
Bible.
Isn't Harry Katz, isn't that what knocks the bins over in China? Can you actually do that?
I'm not sure, but you
You
did.
see, well,
No.
my view is...
Oh,
that
no, he's going to do his view now.
No, what we used to be told...
Yeah.
Please don't
is-
do your view.
It's been good doing this show, hasn't it?
is that the target of your joke should be up rather than down.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the Chinese are probably now the world superpower.
Yeah.
Certainly
Yeah.
up there right with America. So I think it's all right to start doing the Harry Katz jokes.
Oh,
Yeah.
brilliant. We've all got diplomatic immunity. Marvellous.
Yeah.
Frank,
close one.
£1,700.
That's a bit expensive.
That was your
for what?
takings last night.
Oh, sorry. For what?
That is how much Dr. Harold Katz charges
For the Bad Breath Bible?
Yeah.
No, for him to
No,
meet them.
for a consultation
Oh,
to make your breath
So he
better.
basically has a whiff of you and then...
It's quite a lot of money.
Helps fix you
Can I
somehow.
say, the Bad Breath Bible, is there an old Pepsodent and a new Pepsodent?
I thought it had a lot in it that you would like. I had a feeling that there would be some Nazarene-based puns on their way.
He has a device called the halimeter,
Oh, I'd like one of those.
which measures all the sulphide gases in your mouth.
Is it? Would you pronounce it the halimeter?
Oh, I'm sorry.
What would you call it?
I would have gone for the halimeter because of halitosis.
Well, I'm so relieved we've cleared that up.
No, but you're emphasising limits. That makes sense too, because it's sort of limiting the smell. But hali is how we say halitosis, isn't it? We don't say halitosis, do we?
I don't.
Anyway, answers on a postcard.
Yes.
If you get
Let's store the whole thing
2,000,
off, is what I'm saying.
if you get a score of 2,000 on the halimeter, forget it. You may as well just stay. I mean, that is terrible. That's the worst score you can get.
You're probably like a lion. I imagine a lion with terrible breath.
Oh yeah, their breath would be bad, wouldn't it?
You're going to look at them.
Yeah, but no one comes that close to them, to be fair.
Well, I suppose if they do, they're not worried about their breath. Not worried as you would be. You know, I've always fancied my chances against a lion. I've told you this before.
Have you?
Okay.
Yeah, I think if you get a really tight grip around their waist, they can't get their claws and teeth at you. And you just hold on until they starve to death.
Can I ask you, Frank?
Just that
which animal do you
short
think?
period of time.
Which animal has the worst breath? Because
The dog, probably.
do you think the dog?
I think dogs generally have awful breath.
I bet,
For obvious
I bet
reasons,
gorillas
if
aren't
you
great.
think it through.
No, but gorillas aren't good.
I don't know, I imagine, because
Quite a lot of greens in it for the gorillas.
yeah.
They're,
that's good though, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
I would think so.
I think Harry Katz says he says pineapple and tomato are the biggies. Who'd have
I
thought that?
love the fact that he blends citrus fruit and he's coming to the UK to tell people, oh, the problem is you're eating too much pineapple. Really?
It's that
Yeah, it's all those Hawaiian pizzas, isn't it? And
Why?
pina coladas.
So it must be in Hawaii. It must be a big problem.
You'd think, wouldn't you?
I never noticed it when I was there. I know I sound like I'm slightly obsessed with this, but I do think it's a national epidemic that's going ignored. They go on about the avians and all those sort of stuff, the swines, but not everyone's letting this thing get out of hand. Used to be, adverts about it and that, telling people.
Yeah.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Ian Angle, regular texter.
Angles on.
Yep, the animal with the worst. The animal with the worst breath is the alligator. It's good.
Oh, that is good.
That's why I took a second run up at it. I didn't want to ruin his joke by bad reading.
If you're accused of bad breath, would it be a allegation?
We are in Edinburgh, so can I talk a bit about what
You are.
I've been up to?
Yes, I want to know.
You've got your little shows, you two,
Yep.
and Daisy and I have been hitting the town.
Nice.
We got here. I went to see your show. Can I be totally honest with you?
No.
Uh-oh.
I was slightly disappointed I didn't get recognised.
Oh.
Because I was laughing loudly. And I was saying things
In
like,
order
I
to get
know, we do
recognised?
that on the show.
Oh,
really
okay.
hoping people would go around and go,
Okay.
you Emily?
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Oh dear.
Nada. Daisy and I, however, had popped along earlier to see the OC's stand-up show. You know, the OC of Absolute Radio.
Christian
Absolute.
O'Connell.
Yeah.
It's all in the
Yeah.
company, isn't it?
So we went along to see the OC's show, largely hoping I'd get recognised, and I did.
Ah.
That's
Luckily.
Sweet.
interesting.
I built it and they came.
Yeah.
Was
a
it from Day of the
lady-
Triffids?
I said very loudly, no, you go in front of me while I wait to see my Absolute Radio colleague.
All right, yeah.
That
No,
was
I just said, you go in front of me, and I wanted her to know. I talked a lot in case she went, oh, it's Emily.
One thing Absolute Radio don't do, to my knowledge, is the T-shirt. I thought radio stations.
Oh, I can't
basically
wear one of those, that'd be
thrived.
embarrassing.
No, but you could get it altered.
Oh, I could do a little knot in it.
Yeah, one
Yeah,
of the
look a
knots.
bit sexy.
Yeah.
That's how I've got mine done today, innit? It's nice.
Looks
Mhm.
lovely.
Thanks.
Anyway,
This is not a knot in mine. It's a growth. it's just sitting on a growth.
It's another insect bite.
I've come to call it the crop top shelf. I let the T-shirt gather on the growth, and it just sits there. It's all right.
the woman took a picture. I said, don't
Oh.
put that on Twitter. My makeup's not great. I don't look good. I turned a bit. She went,
Okay.
oh, okay. She was lovely. Hi, Amanda. But what
Oh,
was awful
Mandy.
was I was on the phone. I was waiting for Daisy because she'd gone to get a coffee. 6:15, a bit weird. Who gets a coffee at 6:15? If a boyfriend said that, I'd be very suspicious. Anyway, she disappeared.
Should we be on a date? Do you want to go for coffee at 6:15?
No, I'd put that up there with taking the mobile into the toilet.
I'm going for a coffee. So I'm on the phone to my boyfriend.
What about when they say, I'm just going out for some fresh air?
Oh.
Does anyone say that in the real world?
Walk the dog. We haven't got a dog.
Do they only say it on East End? Just go and get a bit of air. I'm just having an affair. Oh, sorry, I meant going out for air.
So I'm on the phone to my boyfriend. I have to grab him while I can. He's on set. On the set of his award-winning HBO drama.
Yeah.
Hashtag first world problems.
So we're on the phone. I said, I'm just going to go and see the OC. Suddenly I hear, hello! The OC came up behind me. I screamed so loudly. It was like I'd seen Nosferatu. My boyfriend screamed because I screamed.
Okay.
It was awful. The OC
thought he was
screamed.
hearing a mugging.
Nosferatu the vampire.
The OC
So this is
screamed.
before the show?
Yeah, we all screamed.
See, I don't like seeing people before
No.
the show.
Me
You know,
neither.
I think it was Binky Beaumont who spoke about the magic of theatre.
Yeah.
It's all right afterwards, but before you want to believe that they just dwell in that world
I
on
know.
stage.
It kind of ruined it a bit. And the OC said, I'm a bit nervous now. And I felt I'd ruined it. But we did go and see the show. I think I got recognised by one other person. That was all I cared
I
about.
thought you were going to tell us about the show.
No, the show was great.
No,
the
I'm
show was brilliant.
This is
Emily's
why-
reviews of both shows have been, I was recognised and I wasn't recognised. This is perfect.
No, but I knew that she liked the OC show, so I
Yeah.
was able to be relaxed.
Yes,
about
I
that.
did like the
If I
OC show,
thought,
and
oh
it was
my God, she's
fantastic.
gonna-
Yeah.
It's called Breaking Down. It was really funny. And I didn't have to pretend laugh, which is always a relief. I was genuinely laughing, which was good.
Yeah, the thing that I do, if I'm in a small gig, because people look at comedians in the audience, see if they're laughing.
Oh,
If I'm not liking it, I get I form a sort of V sign, but not meaning a V sign, with my fingers, and I rest my hand on my chin, and I raise my upper lip. So
yes,
it
because you
looks.
did that when we saw Alun's show.
Ouchie. Ouchie.
Everything.
Frank.
No, so I sit. So it looks like a smile in gloomy lighting. Oh, I know.
It looks a bit like a Doberman Pinscher about to attack.
Yeah, but I think that's all right. I think an act will take that over indifference.
Oh, yeah.
I think we all.
Frank, what about when I went to see Russell Grant, Strictly Edinburgh?
Hold that thought. I think we forever.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text us on 81215. Not that many texts today.
Oh.
A little bit further to come, I suppose. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
So, we're up in Edinburgh,
AMA,
and...
against medical advice.
yeah, you shouldn't even be here. I decided, when I got off the train yesterday, there was only one place I wanted to go, one show I wanted to see. I'm afraid that wasn't your show, Frank Skinner. That wasn't your show, Alan Cochrane. That was Russell Grant, Strictly Edinburgh. I'd been waiting to see this show all my life,
I can
practically.
understand that. Russell Grant, he makes me feel fine.
I'm a Russell Grant fan.
When he's blowing down the back roads of my mind.
That's against medical advice.
When his show's called Strictly Edinburgh, does he only do stories that happen within an EH postcode? That would be Strictly Edinburgh,
That
wouldn't
would
it?
be.
Hold your high horses, you'll find out.
Oh,
He,
Hold my high horse is what?
how can I begin to describe this show, really, to you?
I have no idea
Okay.
what it's going to be.
I'll tell you what happened. So on the poster, this
Yeah.
enticed me. Bruce Forsyth, there's a quote from Bruce Forsyth, none too shabby.
Who
Russ-
is this, it says. It's done over the phone. Who is this?
He in fact says, Russell Grant is what show business is all about.
yeah.
Don't end on about.
Does
I
he?
didn't like that. It's a bit messy,
Oh, is
isn't
that what
it?
he
Is that
ends on?
preposition or something?
Honestly thought he would have ended on his golf handicap. He plays off a 3.
Anyway, so there's not a huge house, I won't lie, but it was a preview.
Yeah, and also it's beginning the
Yeah, it's the
festival.
beginnings, you know.
We're still on the ramp. We haven't reached the upper
We've
level.
all got
The set is
chairs.
promising. The set is promising. There's a pair of feathered wings,
Okay,
a purple wig,
yeah.
a throne, and a dressing screen. I like it already.
Yeah.
Russell Grant comes on. There's a huge picture of a chandelier as well.
Lovely.
A picture of a chandelier.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a projected image of it. They could have fetched a real one.
Because of the health and safety, you can't be lighting a full
Imagine
chandelier.
if he
He's got a very, very glittery shirt on.
If a man should have a chandelier death, it's probably Russell Grant.
He's wearing too much crimpling near a lit chandelier.
No, I imagine it falling on him. I can hear the sound effect be... I couldn't do the tinkle. There'd be more tinkling.
Definitely.
Okay. But it's how he'd want to go, I think.
He's wearing a very...
What I'd do is I'd have it raised, and obviously you'd have been so pierced by it, he'd still be connected to it. And I'd have him hanging in my house as part of the family. So his spirit was, ever in my midst.
That would be nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Frank, let me tell you about the show.
Oh, sorry.
He's wearing a glittery shirt. He'd stolen it off Strictly.
Can I say, first
because
of all...
when he shows a clip of Strictly, he's got the shirt on.
Excellent.
The same shirt on.
Can I say, I could have told you that he's wearing a glittery shirt. I don't know that...
And I could have told you that he showed a clip of himself on Strictly just as a guess.
No, I thought the BBC might have said more.
No, he thanks them at some point.
Oh, does he?
I'd like to thank my friends who allowed me to show that clip.
Nice.
I don't think GM Good Morning Britain allowed him to show clips. He sits down... He comes on and he starts dancing. He does a song first, in a sort of Rex Harrison style. It's along the sort of Who Am I from the Les Miserables style.
I've grown accustomed to her face.
Yeah. Then he opens a book called My Life with glittery pom-poms hanging off it.
Yeah, it was a book on the length of his life.
And then he starts reading about his life. Some of it, I mean, there are some dark periods. He says, I went through some dark periods. I got up to 27 stones, he says. And then he says, but let's dance. Let's dance to Dana's Something's Cooking in the Kitchen.
Oh, yes, something's cooking in the kitchen.
Oh, no wonder he got up to 27 stones.
Yeah, there's always something cooking in this kitchen. It was on the back burner, so to speak.
He gets up on stage with a bowl and an egg whisk. He starts dancing to it.
Does he?
No.
Yeah.
Just Something's cooking in the kitchen.
Something's cooking in the kitchen.
Wow.
There's a lot of Gloria Gaynor. Is that
a term I should be more familiar with?
Gloria Gaynor, the final song.
But once I was afraid, I was petrified.
First I was afraid.
Sorry, I'm not very good on lyrics.
Song lyrics today.
Well, that was the end.
The only one I'm really confident of is...
well, there was so much going on. He ripped open his shirt at one point.
You are having a laugh.
And he had a black T-shirt saying, I am Samba.
Oh, he had something on under it. I thought he was ripping
said,
off
I am
his shirt.
Samba.
You shouldn't give away his big reveals. But it might be another dance on another day.
Literally his big reveals.
I think he's worn that shirt before, to be fair.
I want to come back to
Strictly.
this, because I'm just loving it so much. I'm going. Definitely.
Me too.
We're all going.
Shall we all go together? You'd go again, wouldn't you?
Go again? I'm going every night for the rest of my life.
Okay.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
So we're at Russell Grant's Strictly Edinburgh. He's just ripped off his glittery shirt to reveal I am Samba. There's a few technical hitches. There often are early doors, as we know.
I am Simba. Judging by the breath.
A couple of his pictures.
That's a joke, actually. His breath smells beautiful.
How do you know?
I've met Russell Grant did my star chart.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, he's at great pains to point out. He says, I did a bit of astrology, but I'm an actor. I'm a trained actor.
Now he tells me.
Does he?
Paid through the nose for a star chart.
Well, I
That's a bit
looked
cheeky,
up
given that
his
he's in
website
today's
online.
papers doing the
He
stars.
does do online. I think it's £1.53 a minute.
What?
Now, this was a proper... I
dear.
have a document with astrological
All right, Neville Chamberlain.
symbols. I spoke this morning with the astrologer, Russell Grant. As from midnight, we are at war. So I'm
you might have a
mixing two
document.
speeches together.
You might have a document from Russell Grant, but I'm not sure it's legally binding.
Well, he said that
He's got to fulfil his promises.
He said
might land you in legal hot water, though.
No, this is honestly true. He said my career would last 7 years,
Yeah.
Right.
and that I would never hold down a long-term relationship.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, it's quite a big thing to get in a star chart.
Well, it turned out he was wrong. Something was cooking in the kitchen.
So it was his. He'd actually given me his. Or did he say we'll never hold down?
Oh, he might have.
What he said.
See, the reason
Well-
I've not been to see his show yet is that I'm an Aquarian, and it says,
He's
beware.
an Aquarian.
Does he say
Why
that?
don't you two make beautiful water music?
I'm an Aquarius.
That's a good idea, yeah.
Oh.
I'm Spartacus as well.
No, I'm.
He explains that he had a long time off. He's not that specific, is he, Daisy, about why? He said he had a dark period in his life.
Well, no one called.
No, okay.
I mean, we've all had those periods in our careers. I didn't realise my phone was on silent for 3 years.
But he's good at...
Loads of stuff coming in.
What Russell's very good at is what I call the this morning gear change.
Oh, yeah.
So he'll talk about that, this bleak period. He felt life was not worth living.
Oh, dear. I thought it was going to be fun.
Let's listen to Big Fun. Don't blame it on sunshine. And then you get up and you have a dance, which is lovely.
The audience dance?
Yeah, you've got to dance. He goes, come on, madam, at the back. That's me.
Oh, dear.
That was you?
Yeah, madam.
I'm not...
Bit young for madam, surely. Then...
You were at the back thinking, I've been recognised, finally!
It'd be a lousy counsellor, wouldn't it? And then the relationship broke down. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. That's terrible news. Still, what about Lulu to Sir Whitlock? To Sir... Come on, everybody, Whitlock! Come, stop crying!
Frank, at one point, he called a gentleman up on stage...
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Will you be my puck?" I think that was the character, and he made him put some. He said, "Put the wings on."
He did Shakespeare.
Yeah, he did Shakespeare. He said, "Put some wings on. Put some wings on."
Grant does
he
Shakespeare.
couldn't free the wings from the purple wig. Happens to us all.
Yeah.
So he got a bit frustrated.
Oh, no.
And he said, "Look, just leave it."
Oh no, did he?
Really?
And the wig was stuck to the wings.
The purple wig was stuck to the feathers.
Oh.
So
did he sing? What is this wig beneath my wings?
I have to say, he was brilliant.
Leave it.
I want everyone to go see it, but
Gotta
there was
keep your props
you know what
separate,
it's
that's
like in these early doors with shows, and he got frustrated.
Yeah.
So he just said, "Look, just leave it." So he got on
So
with
he
the
didn't
show.
see that coming.
No, he certainly didn't.
I should have known this would happen.
My favourite moment was at the end, and it was all building up to this, was Gloria Gaynor.
Hold it, there was a better moment than just leave it. I can't find that amazing.
This is the show that keeps on giving.
Well, one of the photographs wouldn't work, and he was a bit cross with one of the staff.
Dear,
Yeah.
He sounds like a man on the edge. It's a nerve-wracking time in Edinburgh.
But at the end, he said, "Right, I want to see everyone on this stage."
Wow.
Gloria Gaynor, I never can say goodbye. I took this rather too literally, so I went running up to the stage.
Yeah. Well, that's fine.
I started dancing. Daisy was still standing in the audience, laughing, taking pictures of me. I just thought, I'm going to have to style this out. I thought Frank would want me to style it out like a professional.
Yeah.
A few women got up. One Scottish woman went, "Oh, she's at the front."
I think it's going to say 2 security blokes came and carried you off.
Thought it was a pitching version.
Russell, who by this stage had put a full-length evening wear on, dress, turned round to me and said, "Great number, isn't it, this one?"
Bad. Meaning the dress or the song?
The song, as we danced.
Not as in, nice number you're wearing.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So I want everyone in Edinburgh to go and see Russell Grant's Strictly Edinburgh. I insist we all go. It's a show outing. It's a fabulous show.
It really does sound absolutely... Just leave it. That's what I like. Just leave it. The Guardian.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
Can I just say how relieved I am to have remembered to come to this show today? I think because we're in Edinburgh and it's a Saturday morning show and we're all out of sync with our normal lives, I was extremely worried that I may forget to come along this morning.
Because it means so little to you.
I've had a bit of a week of forgetting things that are actually important to me. Like I booked a flight to come to Edinburgh for the festival for the 31st of July, and then I got invited to the Stand press launch where I'm playing on the night of the 31st of July.
TSA?
I read the email and thought, that's strange that they're having the press launch in the room that I'm playing tonight. I'm playing on that night, rather. And I start 10 past 10, and their press launch starts at 9 p.m. Surely they're not going to have wrapped it all up. And then I had to scroll through my emails, and I realised that I'd booked a flight a day after I was starting my Edinburgh Festival run, and I had to change it. I had to phone up and go, I need to come up a day earlier. I also
Did they let you change it, or did you have to buy a new ticket?
No, I had to pay an adaptation fee. I don't think it's called that.
Adaptation?
Whatever it is, you know what I mean.
It's like Andrew Davis with the Dickens.
Like a clerical fee. Some admin fee is probably what it is, isn't it?
Peter's pence.
So then I did said preview, and I know already, Frank, that you will empathise with this, because every comic I've spoken to about this has nodded as if to go, yep, I've been there, fella. I was approaching my closing routine, which includes a callback to a previous routine, and I realised as I was sort of walking up to it that I hadn't done the previous routine that it references.
Oh, why did you do that?
I'd missed a chunk of the show, and then I was about to call back to it, and every comic in this city that I've told it to has gone, yeah, it's hard, that, innit, where you have to suddenly backpedal.
So what did you do?
I love the science of comedy, though.
I did what I like to call a really terrible, hasty rewrite, and got away with it. But it was fine. It was a preview anyway. But my forgetfulness, I'm worried about it. I think I've got misplaced priorities. I brought with me briefs for sport whilst up here. You know, I told you before that by day I like boxer shorts, but for sport activities I prefer to be held.
Yeah.
But
I actually felt liquid rising. Honestly, acidic
I didn't think it was
liquid.
that exciting.
that's why I wear the briefs.
Acidic liquid rose.
But the fact I remembered that, and I remembered bike lights in case I buy a bicycle while I'm up here.
I thought you meant for your briefs.
Show me the way to go home.
Let's face it, we'd all do with a bit of warning if you're approaching.
But I forgot a chunk of the show, the whole raison d'etre of the trip.
It's difficult.
You're in the trip now, are you?
Yeah.
Oh.
I missed a couple of bits.
Oh, good.
Last night.
Glad to
Did
hear
you?
it.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it.
One of them was a real.
Not the rude bits.
One of them's a real bring the house down.
Not that
Oh, is
rude
it?
bit.
They're the
I was
worst
thinking
ones.
of
that rude bit. Makes me feel ill.
getting the box office to call everyone back for just to go in and do that line.
That'd be good.
If I'd set it up first. Remember that bit where what I should have done was. But I mean, I think you just have to accept you're going to forget some bits early on.
You think?
Yeah, and I don't know if people really. I once did a gig in Gothenburg in Sweden,
Really?
and I started a routine. I just chucked in. I realised that the punchline was a reference to Bernard Manning, which who is not known.
No,
in Sweden.
his Swedish following
How
was...
did you cope with that?
Well, I went to... there was a little man in my brain going through the filing cabinet that said Scandinavian overweight bigots to see if I could... and I didn't know anything. So in the end I said Bernard Manning in a way that sounded as funny as possible. About 3 people laughed, sensing that there must be something in there somewhere.
Yeah, there was something cooking in the kitchen.
Yeah, there was. Thanks, Ross. I thought I heard a rustle. And there's a rustle in your hedgerow. I wonder if he's ever been in a hedgerow. If you know that Russell Grant, if you have an example of him being in a hedgerow, could you text it in? I'm kind of intrigued.
Lives in Wales now.
Does he?
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. You learn a lot about him in this show.
There's no stone unturned.
No,
Really?
27 of them.
that's a lot of turning.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We've had a text in, Frank, from Helen,
Okay.
who says, "Hi, I met Russell Grant at a New Year's Eve party in Porthmadog a few years ago. He was lovely and said my top was very boho.
He's a silver-tongued rascal.
Nice.
He was sat by the buffet." That's Helen in Hawley.
We've also had an email, literally just news in. Morning team, is this part of Broken Britain? When checking my grocery delivery, I noticed that the corned beef tins were missing their keys. I was told that people took them to use in place of a £1 coin to obtain a shopping trolley. What is wrong with these people? The £1 is only a deposit and is reimbursed when the trolley is returned. Even Alun, who is cautious with a quid, surely wouldn't do this. Regards, Wilf Bean. Steady on.
Can I be honest, I don't use those, I don't understand them.
The trolleys?
Yeah. Well, where do you
just
put the pound?
You put it in a slot and then
I've
it gives
tried
back
it,
to
never
you again.
worked.
Alan presses the metal.
Oh, it's too technical already. Can't you just get someone to help you?
To be fair, Frank didn't get very deep into the engineering of it.
Pound presses the metal. Sounds like
So you
someone
do when you put it back, you get your £1 back. So I mean, they're quite right.
I don't want the pound presses the metal. It's like some Sheffield foundry. I just want someone to carry my stuff for me.
Well, that's all very well.
Much though I love corned beef, I don't use the little keys off there. I have a key fob that my in-laws got me that says Alun, and it's got like a fake
that was a
pound on
nice
it.
birthday present.
Yeah,
It's got a fake pound.
it's got a fake pound, so you can get your own deposit back, as it were. For if you're ever at the supermarket without a pound.
I'm just googling the details of the citizen's arrest. You have to go through the correct procedure.
Yeah. Try it, pal. You
Awful.
try it.
I don't like the use of pal there. You know how excited I was about Russell Grant, and continue to be so.
Well, I was quite excited. I didn't go.
I've also been very excited this week about Kate Moss,
Me too.
Oh,
because
yes.
I'm a huge fan of all aspects of her work.
Says someone who works in the fashion industry. Just to lay the line down. I know you are.
Yeah.
But I was a particular fan of her work this week because she did some fabulous blagging. Did you
Yeah.
see this? She got on a flight, I believe it was EasyJet. I don't know because I've never flown EasyJet.
Really?
Oh, you sound surprised, my friend.
Okay, well,
Frank
you know,
has.
if it's good enough for Kate Moss, I certainly have, because hence the famous
Famous
headline.
headline.
I was photographed getting on EasyJet, and the headline in the Mirror, I think, was Frank Skinflint.
Oh.
I think everyone. I think,
Skinflint.
but I think bargain airlines are home to all sorts of people now, aren't they?
Can I tell you what worries
Well,
me?
Kate Moss, for example.
David Baddiel. It's a surprise. Can I tell you what worries me? If I'm going on, as you call it, Frank, Metal Bird in the Sky, I don't want it to be like a mosh pit at a fall gig.
Do you want it to be a moss pit?
Oh, yeah.
Very good. I want allocation.
Right.
That's what I need.
It's the name of the game. That's what you need.
But so she was. It was said she was inebriated by some
We can't
onlookers.
be sure
no,
of
we
that,
can't.
of course.
I'm sure she was just
But
happy.
people's tweets said so.
I'm sure she was just drunk. No, we don't know. Can I say we don't know?
No, we don't. And she'd been on a detox break in Turkey.
Yeah. Epic fail.
Well, she come back possibly inebriated
Yes.
from
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I suppose you would after a detox.
Oh yeah, you got to go for it.
Really?
I mean, that's what I'm like. The stroke of midnight on Good Friday, when I've been fasting all day, I'm ready to rock.
Ready
See
to
that-
rock.
Now, that's the point, you see, where you should. I believe that there should be special rules that get you through quickly. I think I should be able to walk into KFC midnight Good Friday, and there should be fast track. And I say fast track for people who've been fasting,
Yeah. Nice.
and go straight through. So sometimes I think it's okay. We'll find out in a minute if it was okay with Kate Moss.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
So Mossy, I was initially horrified, obviously, that she'd flown commercial. But I was very impressed to discover that she appeared to have blagged her way onto the EasyJet flight. No payment necessary. Well, we don't know, again, if this is the case.
I thought she'd blagged her way on without a passport. Sans passport.
Oh, no passport either. That's extraordinary.
But, you know, she's Kate Moss.
Her face is her passport,
Yeah,
literally.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I thought Nick Grimshaw is always saying nice things about Kate Moss. Mr. Grimshaw, he said, I was interested, he said she treats everyone the same.
Oh.
But I found I was the same
That couldn't
when
possibly
I
not
was
a good
drinking.
thing.
When you're drinking, everyone else is like the Arsenal mural. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're just faces. So you do treat them all the same. Your family, complete strangers. You befriend, people on the street and stuff like that. So it might be evidence to that effect.
Yeah, but good blag. Not
Yeah.
as
Very
good
good.
as the time I went to Blur v Oasis playing football. Wasn't a glamour fixture particularly, and I got a lift from the fireman. I told you about that. I blagged the lift off the fireman because I needed a cash point, and because it was a charity football game, I thought everything, but it turned out it wasn't free. So
Oh.
I said I've got no cash.
That's how
So
they
I
get
said, would
you.
you mind? Where's the cash point? I hinted.
Yeah.
And they said, we'll give you a lift. So I got in the fire engine in the back. It was great.
This is
Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
When was it?
About 1996, 1997.
It's the year my house burnt down.
Yeah, it's about that.
they were about 35 minutes late.
Stopped
Yeah.
to the newsagent, bought them all Magnums. They said,
bought
can we
them
have
a
your
Magnum?
number?
Bought a Magnum?
They said, can we have your number? I said no. They said, oh, well, you know ours. Thought it was
You
quite
bought
good.
That's good. That
I
is
bought them
good.
ice creams, yeah.
Magnum, 25 years this year. Have you seen that? It's the Magnum anniversary.
Is it?
Oh, is it?
In Oxford, in Regent Street, in central London. Large
Oh,
kind
yes,
of
they've got
ovation.
special silver ones.
Big balloons celebrating 25 years of an ice lolly.
Lovely.
What's happened to
Yeah.
commercial thing? I once, I was at a football match with a boyhood hero of mine, Jeff Astle, who played for West Brom. And we had to get back. I'd been to a game in Portsmouth with him, and he said, "Oh, we need to get back to the hotel." And there was loads and loads of traffic. He said, "I'll get it." He saw a West Brom scarf out of a window. He just stood in front of it, and they stopped. He said, "We need a lift to the hotel." Blah blah blah. So they just drove us because it was him.
That's amazing.
And me and Dave tried it. Me and David Baddiel, we left Wembley, and we said, "Do you remember that thing I told him about with Jeff Astle?" So we just flagged the car down and said, "Can you give us a lift to Hampstead?" Which is probably, 6 miles?
Yeah, what did they say?
They said, "Yeah, sure, jump in."
No.
Oh.
So there's a whole brand of celebrity hitchhiking.
Oh, that sounds
Celebrity
good.
or being... Yeah, I mean, I got a lift from the police once.
Well, we all did.
I haven't.
I don't get much of a lift from Plainham, I've got to tell you that. Anyway, let's... thanks for listening. It was a bit... I was a bit... I'm in a new studio. I'm a little bit discombobulated, but we'll settle. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now, get out.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.